and I'm the Associate Dean for Undergrad Student Life in NBS. And let me start now also by introducing our guest, who is our alumni, and this is Mr. Lawrence Wu. And if you can see, Lawrence is joining us via Zoom. You might ask why, and the reason is because poor Lawrence, he is down with COVID, but being this very staunch and committed alumni, he said, I will still Zoom in and join you. So Lawrence, he is the director and co-founder of Sunsip, and we are very lucky to have him here today with us to talk about, his thoughts on NBS, his experiences in NBS, and also very importantly, after NBS, what did Lawrence do? And how did his experience in NBS maybe help him in his journey, in his career after that? Okay, so thank you for joining us, Lawrence. The other person that I will introduce now is Prof. Damien Joseph. Damien is kind of like my counterpart in that he is the Associate Dean for the academic side of things for the undergrads. Okay, and here we have Mr. Zhou, who is the manager of our undergrad programs office, and he's in charge of admissions. So he's overseeing the entire admissions process. And over there we have Ms. Linda Ong, and Linda is with our Career Services Office. She's the director of a Career Services Office, means that what she does and her team does is that she helps all our students look for internships, look for jobs, and so on. Okay, so if you join us, she is someone that you will be talking to a lot. All right, so what we have here is, I think you can see on your screen, a Slido QR code, and this QR code is for you to scan so that you can then send in your questions. Okay, so once you send in your questions, I will put them up, and then I will invite one of my panel members to answer the question. Okay, so any questions you have, anything you want to know about NBS, anything you want to know about Lawrence and his journey, okay, feel free to ask us. All right, so let me look at my Slido and see whether or not anyone has sent in any questions. I will give you a moment. Okay, so the other thing that I would also like to tell you while I have some time here waiting for you to send in your questions is to tell you that we also have specialization talks next week, and also in the afternoon we also have a session with Prof. Damien Joseph. Damien will be talking to our alumni later on. Yeah, so you can also join us for this other YouTube live stream session, where you can hear from a whole host of different alumni on their different journeys and what they've done and their experiences in NBS. Okay? Okay. All right, so the first question I have here is actually directed to Lawrence. And Lawrence has been asked this question. Let me send it up. Can you all see it? Okay. And this person is asked, I would like to ask Mr. Lawrence, what made you decide to choose NBS? Okay, that was some time ago. I hope Lawrence can remember.
Lawrence, thank you for the question. Can you hear me all right on set? Fantastic. Okay, I decided to choose NBS a bit of because at that point in time, Nanyang Business School was the only school that had that breadth of different faculties across business and accounting, and more importantly, accounting, because at that point in time it was the only accounting school in Singapore, at least. So I chose MBS primarily because I was given the option to decide between accounting, business, and even different business specializations after the first year within the school itself. So it was that flexibility that made me decide to choose MBS at a point in time.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lawrence. Then maybe I'll just follow up with a question of my own, which is this. It's been some time since you've graduated, and now with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of your experience later on, if you could do it all again, would you have done the same? Okay, and I'm hoping, of course, Lawrence will say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the very interesting experiences that I had was after the first year, and then there was still that options of different business specializations and accounting, right? I went to my dean at a point in time and I sat her down and I asked her, do you think I should pick economics as a major as opposed to accounting? Because initially I checked off accounting. Then she asked why. I said, because I think economics makes more money than accounting, than an auditor. She laughed it off and said, look, I think follow what you think you like, and the money will come along with it. It sounded a bit mercenary at the point in time, but then I stuck to my guns with accounting. The accounting as a faculty back then, it's number one. It's still number one now, in my view, in my humble view. And it gave me really the depth of the knowledge from an accounting and finance perspective, and that took me a long way.
Okay, thanks so much, Lawrence. Okay, let me see what other questions we have. Someone is asking, what is a minor and how does it help? Maybe Damien? I think he's the best person to answer that since he's our Associate Dean for undergrad program.
So that's a great question. A minor is a sort of a smaller specialization in another area, right? And typically minors are open to all students, right, coming in to the university, and you basically choose a minor that is either consistent or overlaps with what you're already studying, or it could be something further away. So for example, using Lawrence as an example, right, now our curriculum allows a person like Lawrence, for example, who is majoring, right, in accountancy, to do a minor in economics, right, to follow his passion, to follow his interest. So in that sense, all Lawrence would have had to do was to pick up like 5 subjects, right, curated subjects by the econs department, right, in that particular area. And once you finish that 5 subjects, you declare yourself as having attained a minor, right, in a particular area. So a minor is a smaller version of a major, right, requiring 5 subjects, right, curated, put together, that builds your expertise in a secondary field. Not your primary field, that's a major, the secondary field.
Okay, thank you, Damien. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. And this time, let's talk about careers, okay? So I'm going to be asking Linda that question. And someone is asking this. Hi, what are the careers that NTU accountancy grads can go into other than auditing? Okay, Linda, maybe you would like to explain to them.
Certainly. Our accountancy graduates are well sought after by employers in multiple and diverse industries. Our accounting graduates have gone into multinationals, financial institutions, technology companies, consulting, which is highly popular, as well as SMEs. Accounting graduates are known for their business skills as well as their ability to not just provide a business analysis of the company, but even act as consultants to the company. Our accountancy graduates have been, to far and far-flung places as well. They have also, in their careers, gone to overseas countries, even within 1 or 2 years of their graduation, to Hong Kong, to London, and even, to Eastern Europe and Russia. So with this accountancy degree, you would see that fundamentally, the business of, accounting, right, is really, really very important, in all businesses. So you don't have to worry when you come in, because other than the Big Four, who are our ardent employers, we have many, many career opportunities for accountancy students.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Right. And maybe at this point, what I would like to do is invite Lawrence to share his own experience, because actually Lawrence is a very good example, I think, of someone who graduated with an accounting degree but actually did not end up going into audit, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check with Lawrence and see whether he confirms that. Lawrence.
Yes, in a way, it's more of a yes than a no, but maybe if I can augment to what Prof. Damien said earlier, right? I did pursue a very serious focus on banking and finance minor when I was in MBS at the point in time. In fact, I was so focused on it, I loaded on additional electives that are not counted in the school curriculum. And I had a chance to be posted to New York University as an exchange program. So I loaded on, I think, at least another 2 or 3 electives that is not seen in my transcript, right? And that led me to, I think, subsequently a bit of more of an investment banking career after I graduated from school. But why I say there's a bit of no there is because I did spend 4 weeks in Ernst & Young initially, as an auditor in a private bank, auditing a private bank, and then I landed myself with investment banking. And I guess that took me for another 10 years as an investment banking role. But not just limited to that, right? Currently, Sunseap as an employer, myself aside, of course, in the accounting and finance department, we have a fair amount of NTU graduates, but not limited to that. In business development, in M&A, investment analysis, we have accounting graduates there as well with us. So certainly not limited to auditors as a profession, although, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that profession. Really.
Okay, great. So you can hear from Lawrence his own experience as well as his experience as an employer, how he employs accounting graduates not only for audit, right? So clearly you can see there's a great scope out there. Okay, maybe the next thing I will talk about would be directed to, I think, Zhou. And I think that there's a question here that asks about, can you share more about aptitude-based assessments? I see that whoever has asked this question has done some research on the way we do our admissions. So yes, we do our admissions by aptitude-based admissions as well. And Zhou, I think, can explain more about that.
Yes. So MBS is very open to having students and applicants with non-academic merits. So we welcome applicants with things like leadership qualities, sportsman, or aspiring musician. Okay, feel free to apply through our aptitude-based admissions, and we will shortlist candidates who have met our criteria, and we will assess you based on the contributions and the achievements that you have in your non-academic merits. So you're welcome to apply to us if you find that maybe academically you may feel that you may not meet the requirements, direct requirements of the program, but we still would want to hear more from you in terms of your non-academic achievements. So do look out for the information on our website, and do not hesitate to tell us what you have in your bag, other than just having the studies part, but also in areas whereby you have contributed to the society or you have made a difference.
Okay, thank you, Zhou. I hope that explains to you what we mean by aptitude-based admissions and how you can actually come in via that route. Someone else has asked a question, and this one I think I will be directing at Damien, again, because he's in charge of our academic side of things. And this person obviously also has done some research so that our single degree programs are actually shorter than other people's. They're very efficient. You only need to spend 3 years to graduate with a single degree, unlike most other universities locally where you would have to do at least 4 years. But someone is concerned about the downside of that. Is it too rushed and very stressful? What's the upside? Damien, would you like to take that? Thank you.
Well, it is not too much of a rush because our pedagogy makes sure that we develop the depth and the breadth within that span of time, right? It is not very stressful, but I would put it as challenging. It challenges you, it challenges your thinking, it stretches you slightly beyond your comfort zone, right? Now, having said that, if you look at our graduates, right, they all come out being known for their expertise, and we do this in 3 years, right? But we also have the 4-year program, right? And the 4-year program takes you a 1 year more to a deeper level, to a broader level, right? So our double degrees, for example, run into 4 years, right? So the upside of having a 3-year program where we train you just as well as in other universities, the 4-year program, right, is not much. It's not much in terms of the skills. Actually, we do better if you look at, let's say, the accountancy program, for example. In our national exams, NBS accountancy grads typically top the national exams for accountancy, for CAs, right? So in that sense, I think we are doing well with our 3-year programs. Right?
Okay, thank you, Damien. And let me just add to that also that really, if you talk about very practically what the upside of a shorter program is that, of course, you get the same degree, the same or even better competencies for a shorter period of time. That obviously is a time saving. And of course, if you want to be really practical and talk about financial cost, you spend less on tuition fees and you start earning a salary earlier in life. But that's really for the very obvious upsides of it. The other thing about it is that actually there's no downside in that, as Damien has pointed out, our program has been always 3 years. It's always been developed to be 3 years. So it's not rushed in that sense. We didn't rush from anything. It was always developed from the very beginning to be 3 years. And at the same time, if our students wanted to take a longer time, there's also flexibility there. And just now, I think Lawrence talked about the flexibility of an NBS program. And even in the duration, it's flexible. So if, for example, our students, and some of them do, they take a whole year out to do an exciting internship, maybe in a startup, or they take 1 year out to do some kind of social enterprise. And many of our students do such things. So you can actually take longer than 3 years if that suits your own personal career goals. So it's really up to you. What we offer you is the flexibility of finishing in a shorter period of time if that suits you.
And to add to that, right, the 3-year program gets you out into the workforce a year earlier, right? So you have about a year more experience than your compatriots, than your peers, right? Now, adding that, we also have built into our curriculum, right, a work-study program within that 3 years. So you can take a semester out with credit to get another about 6 months to 9 months of working experience, and plus that additional the 3-year program gets you ahead, right, in whatever occupation, whatever profession you have chosen, right, far ahead of your peers. So that's another important upside that you might want to consider, right, the 3-year program.
Okay, thanks, Damien. And well, since Damien actually has brought up the question of internship and how our work-study degree programs actually incorporates internship into your academic curriculum, I'll follow that thought a bit more and talk about internships. Yeah, someone has asked, are there any opportunities for overseas exchange and internships given the current situation? And maybe, Linda, you would like to talk about that.
Sure. The good news is that NTU is opening up, Singapore is opening up, and we have started our overseas internships. So the Overseas Entrepreneurship Program is going to start in June, and the students who are our senior students, our second year and third year students are all applying for the Overseas Entrepreneurship Program. That is a 6 months internship to places like Israel, places like the USA, to Berlin. Isn't that exciting? And so far, most of the countries are, of course, the VTL countries at this moment. But I'm optimistic that there will be many more opportunities coming up. In fact, we are going to hold different sessions for our students to do summer internships starting in June. And the countries are also in the UK, in Santiago, Chile, in Costa Rica, and I even have a Spain internship. Now, I think you're going to be asking, is this true? Are these remote internships? Absolutely true and untrue. Why? Because we do offer in-person internships starting in June, and we also will be offering remote internships as well. Remote internships because in some countries, as you know, the borders are not open at this moment. So we may offer remote internships for some of the students, but we will be managing them very closely. We will be in touch with the employers that are offering them remotely, and they could be from China, India, Hong Kong, Myanmar, Vietnam. And these will be countries that we are also offering our students internships. So you do have a lot of opportunities. Of course, pre-COVID days, 200 of our students would go out on internships, which is about 1/3 of a graduating cohort for our NBS students. And we are hoping that this is going to be restored, and with good faith in what the world is doing. I assure you that when you come in, you will have the opportunity.
Okay, great. So 200, as Linda is saying, used to go out on overseas internships, and post-COVID, fingers crossed, maybe we can at the very least resume the same numbers, or why not? Maybe we can increase the numbers. We were on an increasing number trajectory before COVID, so hopefully we can get back into our stride, and there will be many opportunities for overseas internships. Yeah. Following on from that, Linda, sorry, I will ask you another question because it's also an internship question. And this person is asking, how many internships must I do, and will the school help me find one? So before I hand it over to Linda to talk about how the school helps you, let me just, for those people who may not realize this, let you know that for NBS, all our students must do at least one 10-week internship in order to graduate. And this is for us to encourage our students to try out what it is like to work before you actually need to do it seriously as a career. So this is to give our students the necessary experience, as well as you should know by now that counts a lot towards your resume later on when you're looking for a real job. Yeah? And so that's our graduation requirement. And nowadays I find that more and more we don't actually need to even enforce that as a requirement, because our students realize the value of internships, and they're doing many more than just our one 10-week required internship. And I will hand it over to Linda now for her to tell you all about what we do to help our students find internships. Linda.
You are guaranteed of an internship at the business school. It is mandatory, and we will guarantee that you have an internship. The good news is that we have our year one students now doing their internships, and that is the mandatory credit that they have to obtain. This is actually a great opportunity for many of our year one students, not only just to find a career paths, aspirations, but really to explore what their specializations could be. When you're in year one, you get to choose your specializations. And some of our students, when they do an internship, which is mandatory from the school, they actually find that they are learning more about what they may want to do. So there is also an opportunity for you to switch your specialization after you do an internship, because you find that, you know, instead of taking one specialization that you have chosen, you may actually embark on a minor as in addition to your specialization. And this is really, something that our year one students have appreciated quite a bit. So with a year one internship, you then scaffold your internship and working experience, and when you go into year two, that would be an optional internship that the school will highly encourage you to do so. If you want to look at the percentage of students doing optional internship, is actually very high. So most of our Nanyang Business School students would now have done 2 internships before they graduate in their 3rd year, or even 3 internships or 4 internships before they graduate in their 4th year, depending on whether you're taking a single or a double degree. How do we help you? We connect you with employers. We bring employers down onto campus to meet you, to talk to you, to understand the millennial generation, and to understand your career aspirations. At the same time, we have a mentoring program where we also connect you with our mentors from the alumni, from the industry, and from associations. These mentors will also give you what we call share their experience with you on the various industries and the various career paths that they are taken. At the same time, we have a ICC course as well as Career Foundation Preparedness course for you, because we want you to be successful in your internship, in your search for your internship, and also to perform well in your internship. So we have Career Preparedness course from the Career Services Office to help you to navigate through your internships. So if that's I don't know what else to say, but definitely a guarantee. We will help you prepare for your success, and you are going to graduate with more than 1 internship in your belt.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Linda. Right, there's another question here for Lawrence, and this time this person is interested in asking how his NBS degree has helped to pave the way for his business venture. Lawrence, would you want to answer the question?
Yeah, I think in my MBS degree, because there's the business aspects as well as accounting aspects, right? And as I said earlier, I stepped into the audit firm for 4 weeks, and before that, going into investment banking for roughly about 10 years thereafter. So between the degree and my working experiences, that has helped me a lot to understand various aspects of business, financing, how the financial statements are being prepared and how should they be interpreted. And I think the entrepreneurial side, that's a separate thing altogether. The entrepreneurial streak at the end of 2009 and 10, when I started Sunseed and a couple of other businesses that went along. But notwithstanding, I think the financial skills that was taught to me, and as well as the experiences that I had, were certainly extremely helpful in terms of our own entrepreneurial activities. Right after that, I'm not an engineer by training, but with the financial background, then I'm able to articulate from an engineer's perspective, right, how to make an infrastructure project work and how to sell it to investors.
Okay, thank you, Lawrence. I hope that was helpful to the person who asked the question. The other question that I will pose now is someone who wants to know more about the specializations that are available and about double degree. Okay, let me put that up now. And Damien, I will be asking you to answer that question. So this person has asked, may I know what are some of the specializations available and what are some common double degree combinations?
Okay, so in terms of specializations, we have about 7 of them, right? Things like banking and finance, which Lawrence articulated just now. We have the risk analytics specialization. We have the international trading, right, which is very, very niche and very targeted to the commodities industry. We have the business analytics, right, that trains students to be broad-based business analytics professionals that can be working in areas like marketing, in operations, in IT, whatever, right? We also have the human resource consulting, right? And we have the only business school in Singapore that runs the actual sciences specialization, where we train you for jobs in risk management, in the insurance industry, right? And we have a few others like marketing as well, right? So there are a choice of specializations for you, right? And we usually advise students going in to choose a specialization that fits your career goals, that fits your interests, that fits your your strengths, right? So many of specializations have a mixture of quantitative and qualitative skills requirements. So for example, if you're in banking, finance, actual sciences, risk analytics, these are the more quantitative. So you have to be very comfortable in your mathematics, right? For the marketing, for the HRC, human resource consulting, they're a bit less, a bit more relaxed in their requirements for quantitatives, right? So we have a broad mixture depending on your strengths, right? Now, in terms of the double degrees, we have about 3 major double degree programs that are open to all students. The first is the accounting and the double degree in accounting and business, right? So here, right, going back to our first question, right, a particular student takes 4 years to undertake a full degree in accounting as well as a full degree in business. And in the business program, they specialize in one of our 7 specializations, right? The other degree program available would be the degree, the accountancy degree with data science and artificial intelligence, right? We launched that last year. The take-up has been pretty phenomenal, right? And we are in the second edition of that particular specialization. So here we are working with the School of Computer Science and School of Mathematics. It's a multidisciplinary program, right, where you get depth of accounting from the best from the best accounting school in Singapore, and the best in computer science and AI from the data science and computer science folks, right, in our school, right? And then we have the business and computing double degree, right? And that, at least from the latest graduate employment surveys, is the best starting salaries in all of Singapore, right? So we are involved in that as well. So in all of our double degrees, the entries requirements are pretty stringent, right? It's very competitive, right, to do that, right? So there's another question here, right?
I put that up because actually there was this question that came in, and because Damien was talking about our new double degree in accountancy and data science, and I thought it went. He was actually answering this question already,
Yeah.
so I put that up as well just to tell you that yes, there's
So
a question here.
so the accountancy and data science and AI degree is about 4.5 years because of the depth and breadth of the skills required, right? It's about 4.5 years. You do both a full accounting degree, right, and you are trained for that of a chartered accountant. But at the same time, we train you in the analytic skills, the data science skills, the artificial intelligence skills, because at the end of the day, the accounting profession is changing. The nature of that job role is changing. It is becoming routinized. A lot more decisions are being, at least routine decisions, are being handed over, right, to the artificially intelligent agent. So here, right, the whole purpose of this particular program is to develop a pool of students, right, who are able to manage the value-added processes that come off the artificially intelligent work that has already been done. So this is beyond the routine work, the value-added work, the higher value work that AI currently cannot handle, right? So that's another interesting question here. Is accounting still relevant, and will it be taken over by AI? The routine work, much of it has already been taken over by some information technology, right? In the 80s, 90s, 2000s, we had all your accounting systems come into place. So that has already been gone on for some time, right? If you think accounting is still bookkeeping, right, that's not true, right? We have gone beyond bookkeeping. Now the accounting profession is one of judgment, decision making, about advisory. Right? That is something the AI systems now still cannot do. They cannot advise somebody, some other decision maker, some strategic thinker in what he or she needs to do for the business. So in that sense, the accounting profession is actually more alive and more geared up, right, to manage businesses, to handle the vast amounts of data that come in through the accounting systems, right? So in that sense, it's a very relevant skill, right? Because business processes now become the key, and the accounting discipline is based on business processes. Accountants basically know all about different processes in the organization. They know about what information comes into the organization, right? So they are really the core of the business, right, in any organization. And I think Lawrence will attest to that as well. Yes, Lawrence?
Yeah, Damien, thanks for that. I think I certainly totally agree with you. In fact, the evolution of audit and accounting as a profession has gone beyond. Certainly, we are not back in the days of just checking the numbers and making sure that the financial statements are of a true and fair view. Increasingly, there is this topic of carbon emissions and sustainability, right? And I think as a profession, the auditors stands at top in terms of its leadership role in accounting, in terms of sustainability reporting, and not just financial reporting. Yeah. And how does reporting on sustainability practices taken by different companies, avoidance of greenwashing and things like that. I think the profession here that we're talking about is the top place to take that role.
And in addition to that, Lawrence, you will know that the accounting profession is taking the lead in terms of setting the standards and the reporting standards for sustainability. In fact, they are driving organizations, right, in what should be good measures of sustainability, what should be reported, what we should be focusing on. So in that sense, that the accounting profession is changing, is at the forefront, right, of climate change, of things that we now, really need to work on, these grand challenges, right? So that's a pitch for the accounting profession.
Okay, great. And I must say that we have two of the most qualified people to talk about AI and to talk about sustainability, because Damien is our IT prof, okay? And Lawrence's business, Sunseed, is in the sustainability area. So really, you can't get better people than these two to be talking about sustainability, about AI. Okay? All right, thank you so much for that. Let me just move on to now the next one, where someone asked, okay, can you work while studying? And I saw also another question here somewhere that related to that, which asked about our work-study degree programs. So maybe again, Damien, I will ask you to answer that.
So you can, let me take this question first. Can you work while studying, right? So you can, and Linda's team does a very good job of trying to match you with part-time internships, if you might, right? So at the same time, while you are working, you can also be in class studying, right? So together with Hong Zhou's team and the larger undergraduate program office, we will try to make that happen, right? For you to work and to study at the same time, right? Difficult in your first year because of the types of courses that we are rolling out in our curriculum, right? But it becomes easier in your second and third year, right? Where you have a bit more options in the electives and the choice of classes that you can take, right? So in that sense, the undergrad programs office and Linda's team in the careers of services will take care of you and trying to fit your requirements, right? So it is your requirements with the curriculum, right? So in that sense, it is possible. The other possibility is also, as we discussed, doing internships during the intersemestral breaks, right? The long breaks that we have in between May and July, and also sometime in November and December. Although the November, December is a bit short, most organizations don't want you to come in for about 8 weeks, right? Because there's not much you can do there. But the longer breaks, definitely. Okay? And we see, given that there is a lot of interest in internships, what we have done is we have built in internships into the curriculum. So now the work-study degree programs that we've been talking about allow students at a minimum 25 weeks in situ work experience. So they will be attached to an organization full on for what minimum of 25 weeks. Right? You can stretch it for up to about 45 weeks if you peg on the professional attachment, the mandatory 10-week internship that Kit Wye and Linda were alluding to just now. Right? So at the end of the day, you have about 9 months, right, in organization experience, putting into practice what you have learned in school. So, and many organizations take into account these internships as part of working experience. So that puts you ahead of some of your peers, right? And we can do all of that, like the third question is asking. We can do all of that within 3 years, right? We have managed to rework our curriculum so that we still have that breadth, we still have that depth, we still have that rigor, right? And develop you both in your hard skills as well as your soft skills as you are working within that 3 years. Okay.
Okay, thanks so much, Damien. Okay, so the next one that I've seen some questions. I'm trying to find those questions that I saw just now, but essentially they were relating to scholarships. So some of you have asked, are there scholarships available if I were to take a program in MBS? And for that, I think Hong Zhou would be the best person to answer that question. So Hong Zhou, maybe you want to tell them about the scholarships?
Yes. So some of the scholarships that we have available for applicants are the Nanyang scholarships, the college scholarship, and the school scholarships. So just do take note that scholarship application should come after your application for admissions, okay? And it is right at the end when you complete your application for admissions. And also, take note that if you are to apply for scholarship, you will have to submit one appraisal and also have a written essay of not less than 300 words. Okay?
Okay. And someone asked this question, which is, do you interview everyone? Do we interview everyone, Hong Jo?
Well, I guess we try to, all right? So we will, my team, right, will be working hard to look through at everybody's application, all right? So interview is on a selected basis. We will ensure that all your applications are well taken care and really looked after. And as long as, certain requirements are met, certain criteria are met, and if there is a need for us to assess you based on the interview, you will be contacted and shortlisted for our interviews, be it the scholarship part or the admissions part.
Okay.
Yep.
And you don't have to be so concerned about, scary interviews. They're not scary. You just come to talk to us, we talk to you, we get to know each other better. So that's about it. No biggie, okay? All right, so, there's this question that many people have asked that, to be honest, I'm trying to kind of ignore because it's not very politically correct for me to go and talk about certain things, but since so many people have put it up, let me just address the elephant in the room. Many people have asked, okay, so you're not the only accounting program or only business program in Singapore. What makes you so special? How are you better than the rest? And so on. So there are actually other questions here, but I'm taking this as representative of all the questions they're asking this generally. So what I would like to do is not to say how we are better than the other people or how the other people are worse than us, but let me just say how we are, good, all right? And how we are special. So first of all, something that everyone has been talking about, we have a program that's really efficient. You can do it in 3 years at the same time. That's for the single degree. And we have double degrees, which you can complete in at most 4.5 years, which is a lot more efficient than the other programs that are out there. At the same time, these are flexible programs because you can take longer, as I've said, if you wish to. You could take a leave of absence, go out there, do a startup, do social enterprise, go for an exciting, overseas internship for a year in a startup and see how people do it and so on. So these are all things that are available to you. Also, as I think Damien has been talking about, we have exciting programs. We have exciting double degree programs, for example. So other people out there may have an accounting program, they may have a business program, but we have very exciting double degree programs. We have double degree programs for both accounting and business. We have double degree programs for business and computer science or computer engineering. We have a double degree in accountancy and data analytics and artificial intelligence. So all these things, I think, make us quite special. And what is even more special about these double degrees of ours, which partner with our School of Computer Science, is that we are a technological university. We are a premier technological university. And a business school located within a premier technological university allows us to really leverage on this to create these exciting double degree programs that are exciting not just on paper, but we really do actually offer you top of the class experiences both in your business program or accounting program as well as in your computer science or computer engineering or data science and artificial intelligence programs. So you really get the best of both worlds. Yeah.
So to
Damien?
add on to that,
Yep.
to add on to that, Kit Wye, to be fair, right? All these schools require at least develop a particular student in the minimum required for the profession. Yeah, let's state that, right? Now, especially like for example, the accountancy profession, right? We are training you to be a chartered accountant. There is a body of knowledge that all the other universities as well as ourselves should adhere to, right? So that when our graduates go out to take these professional exams, they have that body of knowledge. So no doubt, right? In that sense, the training and the development is equal. Now the differences come in beyond the major, beyond the curriculum, right? Where we offer the flexibility for students to choose, very many different types of courses, majors, minors, and not to forget, right? NTU is a technological university, right? Technology is in our blood, right? So whatever we do, whatever we train students, we have that technological influence, right? The world is now changing, the nature of jobs are changing, right? We are living in a technological age, and understanding how technology can be capitalized, can be utilized in our work at the minimum level, at the organization level, at the societal level, right, is important. And I think being a business school in a technological university, that provides us the advantage to infuse our curriculum with technology, with the latest thinking about how business and accountancy graduates can capitalize on that technology moving forward. So that's where the value add is, I think, for the business school. Right?
Okay. Thanks, Damien. And kind of related to that is a question that asked about entrepreneurship. How does NBS promote entrepreneurship? And of course, that's a very important question because being a business school, entrepreneurship should also be part of our DNA, right? And we have actually a second major in entrepreneurship that is open to our accounting and business students. So if you're interested in entrepreneurship, and even if actually you are not thinking of starting a business of your own right away after graduation, employers also appreciate the entrepreneurial bent in the employees. Yeah, so the second major in entrepreneurship has really gotten a lot of interest. It's a newly set up major, and it has gotten a lot of interest, and rightly so, I think. So NBS really does actively promote entrepreneurship, and many of our students actually, even our current students, are entrepreneurs. So for example, the person who's helping us film all this today, he's our second year business student. All right, so it's his business. So, and at NBS, we also promote entrepreneurship by trying to use our students wherever possible. When we need products or services that our students actually offer because they have some sideline, some side hustle, some side business of their own, we try to encourage that and we try to promote and support that, yeah? And I hope you can see that he's doing a great job, all right? Okay, so aside from entrepreneurship, that will also lend to how NBS is different. The other thing that's also a related question, I think, is a question about the culture. And again, I'm trying to find it. Yes. So there are quite a number of questions here that I've gotten about the NBS culture. And I think that also differentiates us from other people. First of all, the perception of the NBS student on the ground is really that we are doers. We are change makers. We get things done. We don't go out there and just talk a lot. We don't sit around just being theoretical. We go out there and we get things done. And later on, when Damien talks to our alumni, you can also see that. Yeah, later on in the day, we will have a session where Damien talks to alumni, and you can see, and Lawrence himself, look at the exciting career path that he's had. That's part of our culture here. And also, as an undergrad as well, our culture is one of family. We want all our students to treat and feel that every one of us here, staff, faculty, students, your peers, alumni, we are all part of the NBS family. And I think that culture is really strong. The fact that Lawrence is here today, right, with COVID and all, okay, really attests to that. I think that the fact that actually behind the scenes, we have students helping us, okay? We have alumni who is just coming back just to help us. Nothing, he's just behind the scenes helping us with the technical stuff, and doing all that. It attests to that. And also, we have that inbuilt into our system as well. So for example, we have peer tutoring classes, which are actually conducted by your own peers. And they're exactly what it sounds like. It is peers conducting classes for those modules for certain students who need more help. So Our seniors conduct classes and then their juniors just sign up. If you feel you need more help, you just sign up for the class and you turn up. And our seniors actually conduct the tutoring class, yeah, with the help of faculty who will help them with preparation of materials and so on. What we also have is a mentoring society, for example. We have a mentoring society that actually we didn't set up, not the school itself. The students came to us and said that we really want to set up a mentoring society where we, the seniors, can help our juniors transition into university life, handle thinking about internships and careers and so on. And of course, we were only too happy to support that. But I think that really just goes to show how deeply rooted that sense of family is. And just now, Linda was talking about our alumni who come back and mentor for us. And they're really passionate. The moment we ask for, sign-ups for mentoring, we have so many. We have more mentors, in fact, than we have mentees. Okay, so that again is a sense of how this feeling of family goes beyond just your 3 or 4 years with us. It goes later on, follows you through. Yeah, and the ties continue to be really strong. And so I think that really makes us different as well.
So I think something that distinguishes us, right? Going back to why choose between all of these other schools. One thing that distinguishes us is that we value service. We inculcate a value of service both in our faculty and in our students, right? So in that sense, it builds the community, it builds the family, as you say, right? The other two values are growth and innovation, right? But really, what keeps us together in the business school is one of service, right? We do that at many levels. Even in the curriculum, right? We have adopted, right? And we believe that the way to learn would be in a collaborative environment. So we have a lot of team projects, right, where your peers, right, together with yourselves will develop an understanding of the course, right, outside of class and so on, right. So that is this collegiality, that is this service, right, and that's the culture that we are looking at.
Yep. And the reason why I've just added a couple more questions on the screen is because someone actually had asked this. I would like to ask panelists what students can expect in terms of learning environment for NBS. And I think Damien has just answered that, yeah? And the other thing that I can't quite find out, but I saw a question on ratio of lectures and tutorials and all that. Okay. So maybe
so while you're searching for that, let me answer this. Right? So let's start with the learning environment. The learning environment is very collaborative, very project driven. Right? You will encounter projects in almost every class that you go to, every course that you go to, and the project component is pretty substantial. Right? It can go up to about 40 to 60% in some courses. Right? In some courses, it is formative that you will have to do assessments along the way and there are no examinations. Okay? So we have a mixture of both. Classes that require deep drilling in content, right? We have examinations. Those that are more application-based, more developmental, more towards thinking, critical thinking and problem solving, they tend to be without the exam, but formative assessments along the way. So that's the learning environment, collaborative, project-driven, a lot of presentations, right? And what would make you excel in NBS would be curiosity. You really want to learn that topic. You want to go beyond the curriculum. You want to go and study it to the level that you are comfortable with, right? So in that sense, doing that will, at least having the interest, the drive, the curiosity will carry you through, right? And all of this is done, right, not within the lecture, but in seminars, right? We have not had a lecture tutorial system for at least 20 years, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So it has been seminar-based. Of course, we do have lectures and tutorials in 1 or 2 courses, but predominantly in all your other courses, it will be seminar-based and in a classroom of about 40 to 45 students. Right? So you all will be put into groups within that within each class, and that's where your learning takes place, right? So it's seminar based, right? In groups of 5, right? Learning together, right? Throughout your 3 years or 4
Yep.
years.
Okay, and so let me just kind of elaborate on what Damien has said, which is that he was saying that, oh, some may be very content-heavy modules, which may have exams. Some may be, more skills-based modules where you don't have exams and so on. And I just wanted to say, for example, the courses that I teach. One course that I teach is business law, and that's rather content-heavy, and we have exams at the end of the day, but we also have like class participation, class presentation components. So it's not just 100% exams. Class participation is still very important, and class presentation, to hone your presentation skills, is also very important. And another course I teach is a course on negotiation. So obviously negotiation is not really content heavy at all. It is very much a skills-based course. So we don't have exams for that at all. Instead, we have class participation, we have in-class assignments, we have a journal that you keep, and then we read your journal, like your diary. Okay, so we have so many different ways of teaching a course depending on what is appropriate for that course. And same thing for lectures and seminars. For our core courses, the classes tend to be 40 or 45, larger ones. But for our electives, where the classes tend to be smaller, like for example, in order that I have the proper kind of learning environment for my students in a negotiation class, I cap it at 30. So I do not go beyond 30, okay? Because in order for the students to have a really good experience in a skills-based class, I need my class size to be smaller. So it's very much dependent. But one thing, as Damien has said, is that we do not actually have any lecture tutorial system. It hasn't been that way for years and years and years. Maybe 1 or 2 courses here and there still may do lecture style, but that's really, really the rare exception. Yeah? And the qualities that would help allow you to excel, Damien has talked about your intellectual curiosity. He's also talked about us valuing service. Yeah, so your mindset, your attitude. I've also talked about students who are change makers, people who want to grow themselves and to transform society and the people and the environment around them. These are all the things that we are looking for. And these are the kind of students we are looking for. So if you think you fit within this kind of profile, do join us. If you think you want to grow into this kind of person, do join us as well. Yeah? Okay, so I hope that that has kind of answered your questions. We have time for one last question. Which one shall I ask for? Okay, someone wants to ask about the second degree, double degrees. I actually wanted to look for that. I can't find that here right now. The list of questions is too long. So someone wanted to ask about what kind of double degrees do we have that includes computer engineering and all that, or some form of computer science. And I think we actually mentioned that, and maybe this person wants to clarify exactly what we have. One is our business program on one side, and the other one you choose either a computer science or a computer engineering degree, and you take that from the School of Computer Science in NTU. Yeah. The other possible one that we have just newly launched is the accounting on one side. So you have accountancy degree on the one side, and the other side you have a data science and artificial intelligence degree that you get from the School of Computer Science. Okay, so these are the possible double degrees that you can have with us, which will include some form of computer science or something like that.
There's one more where we have the accountancy program, right, and a minor, right, in data and digitalization, right, where it's a minor program, right, with the accountancy major. The minor you'll be taking with the computer science folks, right. So that's another one with computers, right. The other, yes, there's one more, the business analytics program within the business degree, right? That has a heavy component of languages like Python and R, right? Scripting languages with databases, right? But there, it's more application of the technology to solve business problems, right? Rather than developing an IT artifact, right? As with the business and computing degrees, or the accountancy and the data science and AI degree. Right? So that's a fundamental difference between the two programs.
Okay, so you can see that actually there's a lot of possibilities for you if you're interested both in a business or accounting program, as well as you also have a bent towards, IT in some way. Yeah. So we have come to the end of our session for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you also for the very many questions that I have received. I'm so sorry I couldn't really have time to go through all of them. And thank you to Lawrence for joining us. Thank you. Please go and rest, Lawrence. Hope you recover very quickly, and hope that we get to see you on campus soon. And for those that we have not managed to answer, please do look out for our FAQs that we will be publishing. Yeah. So go to check out our FAQs and see whether we have managed to answer your questions, and we will try to answer all the questions. Okay? Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone. See you. Bye-bye. Don't forget our other talks.
Choose MBS because it empowers you to be your best.
Because it helps to discover a better you for the future that you dream of.
Basically, to find ourselves and to learn how you can make an impact in this world.
Come to NBS to experience a different you. See you at NBS.
See you at NBS.
See you at NBS.
See you at MBS.
I look forward to seeing you at NBS.